All right. Hello. Thank you. It's good to be here. I can say it's good to be back because I had to leave Eretz Yisrael to come back, but it's good to be here. Good to be learning together.
Hi, Ravim.
Hi.
Welcome back.
Thank you. If you want, it looks like a small crowd tonight, whatever you like.
It's just the three of us. This one. Oh, we can roll the table in here.
I hung out with a chavra of yours today a little bit. Englander. Started working in the kollel on Miami Beach in the bedroom there. Yeah. Gittin and Geiris. Mostly Geiris. Gittin, I just sit there and I'm an aide. Get to do tshuva. That's a good mila. Before you have to be an aide, you do tshuva. But I don't. He learned his stuff. I mean, he knows his stuff. See,
it's his.
What's that? His thing.
I mean, he happens to be very well-rounded, but this is special.
Nice. Okay. Nice. Nida. Nida?
Yeah, well, now we're learning. We just finished. Now we'll end this.
Nice. Very nice.
Don't worry.
Okay, Rabbi Sai. We are learning Perek Ches of Seder, Birchos, HaNehenin. And I do want to clarify something. Somebody asked me a shaila. One of the guys, actually, Chaim Aaron from Atlanta, who's on the chat and whatever. He asked me a shaila, and I thought I knew the answer based on what we learned. And I looked it over again, and I saw that it wasn't the way I thought. So he asked me a simple shaila. You have breakfast cereal, and it says grain in the ingredients. Let's even say it's the first ingredient. Talking about the 5 grains. So can you say azoinus when there's other ingredients? There's other ingredients that are not grain. They might be considered grain in the Welt, you know what I'm saying, the world, but they're not grain like beans, lentils, and quinoa, and corn. Rice is mazonos anyway for Mishnah Berurah and Yalkut Yosef Yidden.
So it doesn't help here because you need grain, no? Oh, maybe what else could
it's certainly not going to be, I mean, the klal of kol sheyesh bo doesn't apply to rice. It's not going to diminish from the mazonos of the grain, you know what I'm saying? It doesn't become the main ingredient. Rice doesn't become the main ingredient, al pi halacha. But it is mazonos, you know what I'm saying? So it's not going to diminish the mazonos of the grain. The kitzer, but you don't know what the ratio is. And we learned if you have a bread, so first of all, we said no matter how much grain flour there is in the bread, as long as you can taste it, the bracha is going to be amotzi. Because Bracha Acharona has no shear. You have the taste of grain, and that's most chashuv. It's amotzi.
What's the, there's no ratio?
No ratio for Bracha Acharona. Bracha Acharona.
What do we do with Bracha Acharona?
It's amotzi.
It's 40% grain and 60% something.
It's amotzi. No, I'm not talking about cereal. I'm talking about grain. I'm talking about amotzi, bread. So bread that's made with, the whole thing about 1/6 is not about the Bracha Acharona, it's about the Bracha Acharona. Bracha Acharona doesn't need a shear. Bracha Acharona needs a shear.
Meaning the Bracha Acharona, as long as there's mazonos and that's the ikar, even if it's 20% that's snicker, you make a, whatever, sorry, any percentage that's snicker, so you
Right.
make a rotzi.
Right.
Is there a certain percentage that you know?
As long as you can taste. The truth is,
How do you
for
know
us,
you're tasting
it's hard to taste.
1,000 ingredients.
I know. I don't know.
Bread specifically, bread.
That's the thing. I realize that the whole shaila of the Bracha Acharona is only by bread, not by cereal. I was confused. But let me just spell it out. The kids are, yeah, it's a good question. Who can actually taste the grain taste in a bread as opposed to the lentil taste? I mean, what, do you even know what a lentil bread tastes like? I'm also supposed to know that. That's a hard question. I don't know. Question. You have to ask the experts. Get a kfela, as they say, a professional taster. Kitzer, so what about the Bracha Acharona? So first of all, it has to be 1/6 grain to be able to bench. No question, it has to be 1/6 mazonos, grain amongst the other 5/6 other, kidneyous grains. No question about it. But then, even if it is that, we had a machlokes. If you have to eat a whole kazayas of the grain, or once you eat kazayas of the mixture, it's enough. It doesn't have to be kazayas of the grain itself. That was a machlokes. So I thought that the same machlokes would apply to cereal, and then it becomes how much cereal do you have to eat? You don't know. I mean, if it's the first ingredient, let's say he messaged me a picture of a breakfast cereal post, I don't remember what it was, and grain was the first ingredient. So, it's at least 1/6. First doesn't mean a majority, by the way. First means a plurality, right? There's more wheat than any other individual of the ingredients, but it doesn't mean there's more wheat than them all put together, right? But I assume it's at least 1/6. But the question is, you have to eat a kazayas of the grain, and if so, how much is that? You have to call the company and find out and eat it, all within a kedei achilas press.
By bread, you don't. Bread you do?
I bet it's machlokes. If you have to eat the whole press, if it's exactly 1/6. So in order to be able to bench l'chol hadeyos, you have to eat the whole press. You have to eat the whole press. This Friday night, I had the shaila, and I forgot to be right. I had the shaila, and I forgot.
The question was about that.
Bracha Acharona, yeah. Bracha Acharona is hamotzi, and Bazain is for sure. Bracha Acharona is the question. I thought it was a question, but it's not.
So instead of what, Shabbos?
No, Bracha Acharona is as long as you can taste it. So that's what I'm going to say right now. But Friday night, I meant to ask my wife, because I told you I have a gluten-free guest. My wife makes a special concoction with oats and other things. And I forgot to ask her about this shaila. Like how much oats? We serve him these two little, they're like a little muffin size. Because it doesn't really hold because it has no gluten, so nothing holds it together. She pours it into these muffin papers, and it's like a little muffin, like an English muffin, two of them. It's a kazayas. I don't know if it's a kibetza. I don't know if you should be saying what's a sedayim, what kinds of shilas here, but it's definitely a kazayas. But if it's, depending on the ratio, you might have to eat more than that. I was thinking afterwards. I don't know about being Yotze Siddur Shabbos, but as far as the suffix of benching, I was thinking afterwards he could have listened to my benching. It was suffix. So if he listens to my benching, he says Amen, listens to every word with a zimun. It's no problem to be Yotze benching. What's going on? You locking us in or locking us out? So the kids are, That's what I was thinking. In a shaila, if there's a mezuman, one person can just can do the zimun and lead it, and somebody else can say amen, listen to every word, say amen, and be yotzei m'malashach. If he's supposed to bench, he benched. If he's supposed to be ala mechia, okay, he's yotzei b'diavad. The kids are anyway. So what was the answer with breakfast cereal? So looking back at the Alter Rebbe, it's not a shaila, because the Alter Rebbe says, he actually doesn't spell it out. Alter Rebbe doesn't spell it out, but it says, Alter Rebbe says it's a suffix if it's benching or not. What is it if it's not? It says a shulchan says salam mechia. Salam mechia. It's not benching, but it's salam mechia. Understand?
That's how it explains Alter Rebbe.
That's how it says Alter Rebbe.
What Alter Rebbe says?
Alter Rebbe says if it's 1/6 or more or a higher ratio, and you eat only a kazayas, but not a kazayas of the grain, it's a suffix if you could bench or not, and suffix brachas lahakal. What does it mean lahakal? Like what do you say?
Salam
Salamechia, which really has to be alamechia because you can't say bernafashas. Bernafashas is not going to be much. It wouldn't be a kula to say. It would be you'd be stuck in that situation.
It's referring to bread.
Exactly. Bread, Bracha Acharona is a suffix if it's ala michya or benching. But if it's not bread in the first place, so it's going to be ala michya for sure.
Cereal was never going to.
That's what I'm saying. So it's going to stay ala michya. Whether you eat one kazayas or you eat kazayas of the grain, it's going to stay ala michya.
Can I try to figure out where I went wrong?
Yeah.
Bread, back in the day, became Amichia because he said Safek Bros Hakel to not bench. Don't bench, I will say Amichia.
Exactly.
Is there anyone who says don't do anything?
What? I mean, it's not going to be nothing. I mean, burn the fudges. Is there anything that says, anybody says burn the fudges?
After he says, right, you're going to do something. You're going to do something. I thought only if you ate something. What was the case where you ate, you'd be chayav in another after bracha? What was the case that we were talking about? The Sfardim won't do that? You said the case.
There's a tzira of the Sfardim are not matzar for lemech and burn the
Right,
fudges.
let's say, right, the tzira
Yeah.
of the, let's say, Mechia,
Burn the fudges, yeah.
You're going to do the lesser one.
Right.
Over here, if it's a suffix at all, why would Al Mechia be the, meaning why isn't it a suffix?
Why is it
Suffix.
only a suffix benching and not a suffix lemech? That's the question.
That's not what the question is. That's what I'm saying. He's saying, don't worry. He meant, when he meant, be make on benching, he meant for sure do Al Mechia.
Right.
I'm saying, maybe he meant.
Do what?
No.
Don't say anything after bracha?
It's something after bracha.
No. Yeah, that doesn't work.
I mean, Al Mechia will always be in place.
So you don't say some bracha lahakal to say no bracha.
Sure you do.
No. You're mistaken. You're talking about bracha rishayna if you're not sure if you made it or not. So
I don't know if I drink enough.
okay, because there the suffix is between nothing or something. Suffix say nothing. You have a suffix bracha acharona this one or that one, then you have to make one or the other. You have to eat something else.
You have a suffix bracha acharona on.
If it's bracha acharona, if it's bernafashas or la mechia, you can't say nothing because you definitely have to say one or the other.
Corresponding, you know?
No, according to Al also, you don't say nothing either. I'm not talking about a tziruf. I'm not talking about a tziruf. I'm talking about a tziruf. I'm not talking about a tziruf. If a suffix, if this food is ala mechia or bernafashas.
Your Nizar does not say the.
Yeah. You want to eat the food. You want to eat the food. Work it out. Have some mazonos. Have some adama, and say both after brachas. You're not allowed to put yourself in a position where you definitely have to say an after bracha and you can't say it, because then there's no tzad that you're okay. Savras lahakal means maybe you're supposed to say it, you're not supposed to say it. Okay, you won't say it, but at least according to one side, you didn't have to say it. Even though there's a side that you had to say it, okay, but you didn't say it because of a doubt. But when you for sure have to say one, you just don't know which one it is. You can't just put yourself in that position and say, well, I can't say it. No, you have to say a bracha. You know which one it is. Find out, figure out a way to say it. See what I'm saying?
One.
At least one of them. At least one of them.
Meaning,
Eat something else. And
one of
at
the
least.
shorter question is, can you bless the higher one? Is the higher one?
No. You can't just say it's done, but
No.
get something else. Figure it out.
Still not 100% getting it.
So Bracha Lahaka will not allow you to put yourself in a position where you have a definite chiyuv to say a bracha and you're not going to say it. So Bracha Lahaka does not permit that situation. So Bracha Lahaka can permit a situation where you'll be left not saying a bracha because maybe you're not supposed to.
What was our case? Let's just deal with the suffix and the benching of this. What were we dealing with? What food was this? What kind of bread was this?
Bread that's made with grain flour and other flours that are beneficial flours. So,
and you're going to suffix why?
Because there's a suffix if when you have the correct ratio of a kazayas of dechles pras, if that transforms the whole bread into hamoitzi, and therefore even a kazayas of the bread, one kazayas of the bread will be brachas hamazon. So the whole bread has become hamoitzi bread. Or no, the bread is, the grain is not bottled to the bread because it has the mamashos.
And you need a kazait.
You need a kazayas of the grain to be able to say the brachas hamazon.
Why can't that be a suffix in Birchos hamazon and a suffix in aluchia?
It could be, but ala michya covers brachas hamazon.
Who says you have an aluchia? Suffix in aluchia. Why isn't the suffix in aluchia?
It's either ala michya or brachas hamazon. If you say ala michya, you might see brachas hamazon.
Well, we're back at once. Just is the same rule to mizonos?
Mm-hmm.
The same after bracha rule to mizonos?
What do you mean the same?
The same machlekes if you have to have a kazais of the entire thing within it's a sixth, right?
Correct.
So you have a machlekes. You have to have a kazait of including all the other stuff, or do you have to have a kazait of the green?
No, that's what I'm saying.
Oh.
By mezonos, once you have 1/6 of grain, it's ala michya.
Once you have 1/6
Is if the ingredients are 1/6 grain,
and you just ate a kazait
and
of
just at a
everything,
kazayas,
of everything,
exactly,
then it's for sure on
ala michya.
the same machlekes is not going on.
Exactly.
Okay, so now I understand.
Although now that I'm saying it, I can't think of as far. Why is it clear that it's takes over the whole character of the food to make it a grain food in terms of alam michya, but it doesn't take over the character of the bread to make it bread for, what's the difference? Why are the rules of alam michya different than the rules of benching?
Who says it? Who's the one who says it's okay for mizonos?
It's really the Ktseis HaShulchan. Let me look this up. I'm very sorry, but I have to look it up. Maybe he gives a little bit of a beer in this.
It's not higher levels.
So the Shulchan test there's a higher level. Could be right. Could be the swara is that even though the grain is the ikar, but that doesn't mean it's considered a bread that is that is for Kriya Suda. I mean, that's what it is. Grain is Iker, but for Kriya Suda, it has to be a grain that is a bread that is filling. I mean, the whole part of Kriya Suda is that's what you eat. For your
It's
Suda.
usually compared to these things.
Also, bread.
It's also a Suda's kava. Whatever it says, you're not have a kazais of over a kavitza of bread. It's usually Zaymas, right? Included, meaning both.
Yeah, that's for satisfaction. That's for satisfaction. In your stomach, what's the difference if you're eating a pretzel or you're eating bread? It's going to fill you up the same way. Yeah. Chivas of bread is that it's like a meal. It's like a main meal.
Bread, except for the food. If you don't say balance on the food, after bread.
That's because it's a Kriya Suda.
That's so. The requirement is more strict with the bread.
Just give me a moment. Let me see. I can bring up the Tosafos here. I wrote an email on Friday, Ashkacha brought this, about leadership. Thank you. So I quoted the Gemara about Avdus HaNehenin Lachem. Did you read my email?
I browsed through it, and it was an unrelated topic, so
Basically,
I
if
know you had something.
not related to what we're learning, but Ramil said to people who he wanted to give a position of leadership, you think I'm giving you to be princes? I'm giving you to be slaves, to work for the community. So that's that's what I felt the Bezdin was like.
What it was like?
I started working in the Bezdin. I was there for 14 hours yesterday.
Really?
9:15 in the morning till 11:35 at night.
They're there straight?
Straight. We had break for davening, break for lunch, and supper.
Because when Rabbi what's in their cars,
They stack it. They stack it.
Okay, so
No. They stack all their cases because he's only here 3 days a month. So they stack all their cases in those 3 days. But it's just.
I was wondering where Rabbi number was. I thought it was
No, he wasn't there the whole day today. He was there for a get. He was there for a few hours.
Then what was the Rabbi there for? Getting in Kiddush? Getting in.
Yeah.
Cares?
Yeah, but I wasn't there. I was there just because I'm part of the best, and I'll do it. I wasn't like there like him. He's learning. You know what I'm saying? I was just
Was
there.
it?
He's learning. He was there to get shimush and getting. I was there just to sign. You know, needed a Jewish body.
So it's weird that I was going to continue doing it.
I guess, yeah. I guess the truth is, I learned Hilchos Gittin once. I should really review it and gain something from sitting there instead of just
Top notch.
Seder is top notch. Wow, he's so quick, so sharp. It's unbelievable. He writes backwards, but without even thinking, because you have to fill the line. You know what I'm saying? So instead of writing forward, I don't know why it helps him to write backwards. I just noticed he writes backwards, depending on the line. Like he'll go switch back and forth. He's one of these minds that he knows everything. There's a lot of stuff he has to say by heart when you're doing a get. I mean, you could use the printed thing, but he knows it all by heart, all the names of all the things, and every get has different names and nicknames. He's just saying it like one of these people that is not like the rest of us.
I was actually invited to a wedding today with a friend from high school.
Mhm.
So 3 years ago, 2-3 years ago, I heard from a Rav in the community that this kid is actually an orphan to a Bahrain family. He's a Russian kid. And it made a lot of sense because he's very light-skinned and the family's very dark-skinned. Never picked it up. But once the rabbi said it, everything starts clicking. And he tells me today he's getting married to a Jewish girl in November. So hopefully I have some time to figure some things out. Try to
Well, he never did a gear?
shake up the world. So he did a gear when he was, this is my question. He did a gear when he was a 3-4-year-old. And he was never fun. His parents were never fun.
Who did the gear?
People in New York, supposedly the rabbi spoke to them. The rabbi that I know here, he spoke to them, and it was a good year. The parents were chazik at that point in time, but I know that afterwards they were not religious. And the rabbi even confirmed to me today that they weren't religious afterwards. And he didn't recover mitzvah or afterwards. He never had a kufa he was from. What I understood from the last question that I asked about these type of things that the gerus is not HaNehenin. It's nice.
The whole thing about Kabbalah's mitzvahs is not the same when it's on Das Bezin. On Das Bezin, when a child is converted by the Bezdin as opposed to by the parents, so an adopted child is not converting with the parents. You know what I'm saying? It's the Bezdin that's converting it.
Right.
So even if the parents are not from,
Right.
I'm not saying you can do this because you can't put a person in a position who's going to be brought up not from. You know what I'm saying? You can't. A lot of excitement going on here today. You can't do that. But the Maisa, it's the Badas Bezdin. The Bezdin wants. Yeah, it's a drill, sure. The Bezdin wants the child to be from, and it's al daitan. So that I'm not concerned about. But that's the shaila. After he's supposed to be makabel again when he becomes bar mitzvah. That's a shaila. Now he's not from.
Yeah, for sure he's not from. The question is, was he ever from? The answer is no.
It's a shaila.
They're going to do the growth after his nature.
No, they can do that before. I mean, if it was done Orthodox, presumably they did that before. It's a shaila. It's a shaila.
I was going to hear some growth tomorrow.
Who's the Messiah Kedushin?
They're still trying to figure that out. They asked the Rav, he's in a big suffix himself.
Which rabbi?
The rabbi that I was speaking to, which rabbi? Rabbi Daniel.
Because of this.
Yeah. It's weird. I was kind of oriented to what he reminded me 3 years ago, and then I told him that I don't think he was ever from. I met him when he was 16. He was in high school. I met him 15, 16. He was completely not.
It's Shasa kosher, you know. It's Shasa kosher. When you marry a religious girl, your gear was dependent on your being religious. Now, you have a few months.
My question is if she would be happy with a from guy. She's not from. Hey, I'm flipping her right now. It's like an island of its own.
I don't know.
Muhammad is the wedding's in November.
Ala Michya. Okay, I don't want to get stuck on this because I didn't really figure it out beforehand, and if I try to figure it out now, I'm afraid it's going to take up too much time. But B'kitzur Maisa, for some reason, this suffix does not apply to Ala Mechya. So if you have a ratio of 1/6, Ala Mechya covers you. Not sure exactly the svar. Why it's different than Birchos Hamazon. Okay. So up to halacha ches. I don't remember if we did halacha ches yet. Reitiv shenis bashal b'yochel. Ina mitzdarf yimbai. Mash gomer l'chol davar. A liquid that the food is cooked in is not counting towards the food. It's considered liquid. If you have food that has disintegrated and it's now fit for drinking, smoothie, for example, is no longer considered food. And mashka, similarly, liquids that have congealed to the extent that they are now food is considered food. Even if it still has liquid moisture, the fact is now it's food.
Like Jello.
Jello, exactly. Yeah, correct. Anything you have to chew. Anything you have to chew is food. Anything you can swallow without chewing, but pashtus is drink.
If you take bread from a blender, or mezcala,
If you just blend bread in a blender, it's not going to become liquid.
with water. I don't think anybody does. So that would be a drink.
I mean, if you disintegrate bread in water, it's chocolate. Not even alamich. It's not even mezainis. Mamish disintegrated. If it loses the source of pass. If it's liquid mamish, that has no source of pass. That's
It's like a puree.
a puree also has no source of pass. There's nothing there.
Unless you have little pieces. So
If you have little pieces, then it's going to be amotzi. Even a crumb is amotzi if you have a piece. What do I want to say? Somebody asked me Shadow today about grape smoothie. If a goy makes you a grape juice smoothie.
Juice.
I mean, grapes. He puts the grapes to the smoothie machine. A smoothie with grapes.
How would you want it? How would you want it?
Is it Yain Esach?
No.
So, yeah, that's correct. I don't know the halachas Yain Esach, but I looked it up. And basically, once it separates from the dregs, which over here there are no dregs because it's all pulverized, then it becomes considered wine. And if it moves, mikoyach, the goy, which it is obviously, he's the one operating the machine. It's
Who speaks about that?
Chamer.
Moves me koch away? Oh, well, even in the case of puree? The
He's
case
not
of
talking about puree. He's talking about if it's moving, mikoyach,
he's stomping on it.
stomping on it, but not with his hands. Doesn't touch with his hands.
Stuff like a log.
No, he's stomping, and it's still moving from the stomping, even after it separates from the dregs. But he says it's mutabah now, because he can touch with his hands. Also b'rsiya.
But it's not Yanis.
It's not Yain Esach, it's like stam yanim. You can sell it, and give it to somebody else. You can't drink it.
What's actually Yanis?
Well, if they pour it, if they touch
Let's
it,
say I buy a wine. Let's say someone gave me a wine from it's regular.
why? Because you don't think they touch it at all in the process, all machinery.
Anything they touched.
They touch it, it's Yain Esach. they just move it mikoicham. I never, yeah, no, I'm just read the Machaber and I'm saying, kept asking from that. Just tell you what it said there in that case. I don't know.
Stam Yenam, if
If it moves mikoicham, but they didn't touch it,
Stam Yenam is very rare.
he said it's tamir. Sorry?
Stam Yenam is even very rare. It's really every bottle got moved here. Oh, it has to be open.
Open, yeah. That's another thing. That's another thing.
So a closed bottle of wine,
That doesn't become stamina either. Sealed bottle.
a sealed bottle of wine, maybe it could have actually been touched by the guy.
Outside, it's not called touching.
No. Well, we don't know how it's made. We know how it's made. Every wine is made in the factory and they press the button.
No, I don't know.
So what's the status of regular wine? A regular non-kosher wine?
Assume so, Nesach. Assume so.
Where did it become?
I mean, although it's a shaila if Christians are, whatever it is, are mamish. That's a shaila. But Pashtus, yeah, Nesach.
At what point did it become innocent?
If a guy touched at any point after it became wine, separate from the dregs. What do you mean?
Meaning before they put the bottle cap on, it's not like a process of a factory. How do they make this?
Then I don't know. You mean maybe didn't touch it? Is that what you said?
Even if it's pasteurized and
Before it's pasteurized. Yeah, once it's pasteurized, it's smooth.
that doesn't touch it before pasteurization.
Then it would be and according to this. Funny talking about it. I'm such an arts about it. But if he didn't touch it, then it would just be forbidden to drink, not to sell or whatever.
So this compensate on heel.
That's actually there's a big machlokes achronim about doing business with non-kosher wine. If our wine is considered yain netzach stam yenam.
It's not him. It's also Barno. It's like doing this machal source.
Okay, that's a different shaila. It's a different shaila, but the same shaila, because there doing business is related to drinking it. Maybe you'll come to drink it. So maybe if you're sitting in a computer and it's factories, you're buying. Yeah, it's not so passion.
You can deal with behind the scenes.
It's not passion. It's machlokes. It's machlokes. Depends on the reason. Is it a stam din? Is that a reason? Exactly. So there's room to be makel. I'm saying depending on the situation, but just thinking the whole deal over there is about if the goyim are Avodah Zarah now. I wonder if there's another side because they don't touch it. Maybe the factories. Anyway, I don't know. Yeah, sorry.
There was a shot on NMB. There was one of the guys that down there, a Spanish guy. He's the vice president of Burger King's operations, except for United States of America. The whole world besides the USA.
Very chashuv.
Yes.
Jewish guy.
Yeah, from there. So he asked Joel if it's okay. So it's fine. So,
Because he has nothing to do with the food.
or he has no power, or he's not the main guy. He just hires the vice president also.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot exactly. Just maybe shout out. So never gonna near like a concession stand of Burger King in the building of the
Office building.
of the what?
In the office building of
Right.
Burger King, they don't have a
Right.
burger stand.
And he never has to go into any places that's way beneath him.
Right. Interesting.
That's a possible thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Halachates. Yesh mistabkim loimer. Some are in doubt and say. Want to close the door? Maybe just close the door. Yeah. They're very energized, but after the shooting and MB and whatever, it's scary.
I thought a lot about this thing about the shows. It's not like that. I think every show shows out like
marshal, like in the airplanes. One designated person, armed, ready to shoot.
Definitely one, but one might not be enough. I'm saying
Well, at least one.
it's a big shul.
At least one. Usually it's one not corrupted. It's mandatory, a marshal.
Is that how it is? Is that actually how it is on Apple?
No,
On a rumor?
no, it's real.
Until 9/11, I don't think it was. I think now. I think they started it
Every
back.
day has one person armed.
Fact.
For sure, international
I
flights.
heard about it after.
I'm not sure if every short domestic flight, small planes, whatever. And,
Yesh Mistapkin Leimer. Some are unsure about the following question. And they say, anything that is the way it was created, I feel like kidneys achas. For example, one grape or one bean. Maybe you have to make a Bracha Acharona. Meaning to say, just like we find the concept of a beria has chashivus in terms of Issa v'Heter, right? Concerning, an ant falls into a bowl of soup, something like that. A complete creature is not nullified. So just like we have that concept in that area of halakha and forbidden foods, so the same thing. There's machlekes in the Mishnah and Makas. I'm not sure how it relates to this, but it's a machlekes there about grains. If grains are considered a beria or not, in terms of a forbidden grain like tavel or whatever. And so I think Tanakama, the main in the Mishnah, says that a beria is only a living thing, not a growing thing, not a vegetation, only a living animal. Shimon says even achita achas kebriya, so even one grain. So I guess that's why it's a suffix here. It's not so clear. But in terms of a bracha, at least there's a suffix. If we follow the concept of beria, that a grain, seed, whatever fruit, a complete fruit, deserves a bracha acharona even if it's less than a kazayas. In order to go out of this question, you should make sure not to eat a beria less than a kazayas. Meaning to say, either eat it when it's not a beria, you know what I'm saying? We're going to see later, cut it up before you eat it or whatever, or eat a kazayas of it. If you eat a beria and it's less than a kazayas, and that's all you eat, you're going to be stuck with a doubt about the Bracha Acharona. You eat one raisin. Very simple example. You eat one raisin. It's a whole grape. I mean, it's dried, but it's a whole grape. That's a shaila if you have to say Allah eitz or not. So basically, break up the raisin first. We'll see about that in a minute. Or eat, 15, 20 raisins. I don't know how many is in the kazayas. But don't just eat one raisin because you'll be stuck with a question. It's only a berry if you eat it as is. If you throw out the seeds and it's a fruit that you usually do eat the seeds, edible seeds, or if some of the fruit is missing, you didn't eat it completely, so then you did not eat the complete beria. So certainly if you didn't eat the whole fruit, that's for sure. But even if you ate the whole fruit, but you didn't eat the seed, but it's an edible seed, which is only eaten, that's also going to be enough to diminish it from being a berry. if you ate the seed, but you threw away the peel. Or you threw away the seed itself if it's a fruit that you don't normally eat the seed. As long as you ate what is usual to eat from it, that's considered a berry shleim. When you left out the pit.
Even if the klipa of the garin, yeah, is edible.
No, somewhat inedible.
Really?
You ate the garin, but not the klipa of the garin.
Okay.
I actually don't know what it means. Is this such a fruit? That the seed is edible, but the peel of the seed is not edible.
Pomegranate's edible, probably, but it could be.
The clip is edible too, or I don't understand, Rabbi.
Klipa is not, but he seems to be talking about the klipa of the seed.
That is not edible.
You know what? Maybe we're mistranslating. You ate what's inside the seed, but you threw out the peel of the fruit. The seed, not the peel of the seed. I don't know.
Why does it mash the garin?
Can you repeat that again? I'm sorry, Rabbi. You.
I'm just trying to translate it out over here. What does he say there, Emmanuel? How does he translate it?
Where no. If, on the other hand, in this case, one ate all the concept of the pig and threw away its shell.
Pit.
No, it's a pig. Or similar,
Australian, it's the
threw
pit.
and throw away the pig. For all the pigs are not normally eaten. In both cases, when one has eaten all that is fit to be eaten, from the fruit, one has eaten a complete brine. So that's what it is. If you eat everything that can be eaten, that's very simple.
I didn't get clear. How does he translate? If you ate the pit, but not the peel. Let me just see it for myself in a second. Okay, so once you eat the peel. He ate the contents of the pit and he threw away its shell. And I want to translate it as the fruit. Threw away its shell, the fruit's shell.
So what should be garin?
It's inside the pit, which is the whole pit. He said, why did you say the garin?
Imachol hagarin v'zarak so this is klip hasai. Should say v'zarak haklipa.
I mean, yeah, I just don't know what it is. What is this mysterious fruit? There's an edible pit and an inedible peel of the pit. What is this?
Is it maybe? Wait. So the shell is edible, the clip is edible, and the seed is edible.
No, I don't think the shell is edible. We're talking about the shell of the seed. The seed has an
So pumpkin seeds, like pumpkin seeds.
Maybe.
Because they're both seeds, and they're both the pit of. They're both seeds of the pumpkin, and it's also the shell itself is edible.
It's talking about nuts.
Maybe.
If you're talking about seeds, it's flat.
Seeds, it's pumpkin seeds. They're both the shell is edible and the inside is edible of the seed.
No.
And they're the pit of a fruit, of a vegetable, of a.
Yeah, that wasn't the.
Maybe he's talking about like a nut, where you eat the garin,
Sunflower seed,
which is
watermelon seed, a pumpkin seed.
watermelon seed doesn't have a peel, but
Watermelon seeds on it.
peel of the seed. Watermelon.
The peel of the seed will be a pumpkin seed or the watermelon seed.
אם אכל משהו טוב בתוך הגרעין וזרק קליפ עשוי,
What's the klipa of a watermelon seed? I've never seen such a thing. Sunflower seed has a klipa. Banana seed has a klipa.
Sunflower seed, you don't eat the shoot.
Why are you so green in the greens?
The pumpkin seed has a seed and it has a klipa. There's nothing else to eat besides that seed. Seed.
It has the klipa, and inside the klipa, there's also the actual seed itself.
Same sunflower seed. It's not a watermelon seed. Watermelon seed does not have klipa.
No, not when you cut up watermelon.
What are you talking about?
Watermelon gardening. When you go to the gardening store, they give you watermelon seeds.
Those
It
are.
looks exactly like a pumpkin seed, just miniature.
Oh, I didn't know. I don't know about this.
Yeah.
Where do they get them from? They get them from watermelons?
Yeah.
So they have a seed. They have like a shell.
Yeah, they dry them.
It's interesting.
Yeah, very, very common.
All right, good to
More
know.
common than pumpkin seeds.
To know. Okay, let's stick with that. Or a fruit that is not usual to eat the seed, right? But rather the rest of the fruit.
Sativ.
Yep.
That's more strong.
Yep.
It says, "Im achal mashu b'teicha garin, mizarkli, vaso v'chein pre." Why does it pre? I mean, talking about now.
Maybe. I don't want to seed. No, it's still not.
Before it was also talking about the pre. Pre should definitely hold garin. Yeah, should definitely hold garin. And then it talks about seeds. Im achal mashu b'teicha garin, mizarkli, vaso.
Okay, here. Geen prietje dag lechel garinaal. Kim toch maar zo lechel, maar men is de achel berslim. Once you ate what's usual to eat, that's considered you ate a complete berry. Ooh, shuva prilefana lechel kashu shalim. That's only if the fruit came to you when it was complete. If before you got it, it was already missing the seed. Classic example of this is olives. You buy pitted olives. It's not normal to eat the pits, but you don't get it with the pit. You get it already pitted. Thank you. Like we have with salted olives. It doesn't have the of a berry. So too, even if it's not missing, if it was simply cut or crushed or was brought, it loses its chashivas.
So eaten olive is not considered real.
No.
Even if you never eat the pit.
Very good, correct. It's only a berry if the olives come to you with pits, you take out the pit, eat it. That has chashivas of a berry.
So the pumpkin seed, I mean, you don't get the whole fruit with the seeds and you never get the.
Well, you're asking why is the seed enough to be a berry? It's not the whole fruit, it's just one seed of the fruit.
You get a
I have a nice
you should get a
Shocking
pumpkin,
answer.
you
Because it can make a hole.
take out the seeds and then.
I did see, sorry, in the Sefer, in the Sefer says the Bracha, it brings from the, what's his name? Letzian Abashol, or Letzian. It brings from Letzian that even a pelach of a tapuz, a wedge of an orange, is considered a berry. Because it's like it's a unit. It's a unit. It has its own
It's considered what?
berry.
You might say if you cut that, if you separate every single thingy, but also because Baruch Hu made it in its own little pouch.
The little,
Those are made out of, each wedge is made out of.
yeah. But I think that's already too much.
That's like we said, the shrimp has scales.
If what?
The shrimp can have scales if you look at them at microscope.
No, it's not a microscope. You can see them.
I
You
mean,
can see them, but I don't think it's chashuv. I think it's chashuv.
So according to the Alter Rebbe, the Bria has to be a whole.
It has to be whole when it comes to you. If it comes to you broken, it's not shy. If you break it before you eat it, it's still a barrier. This is something I used to do.
If you break it before you eat it, so yeah.
According to Alter Rebbe, not everybody agrees. Not everybody agrees. According to Alter Rebbe, if it came to you whole, you broke it.
To make.
It's not a
Oh,
barrier.
even broke it? Not just put it in your mouth.
תקרא, וכן אם נחתך ונסרסק, קודם שהוא ולפניו. קודם שהוא ולפניו. In order for it to not be a barrier, it has to have been crushed or broken before it was brought to you. If it was brought to you as a barrier, it has that chashivas even if you break it before you eat it. So according to this, I mean, you're in trouble. I used to do this, and I'll probably continue doing it because I'm going to tell you something from the Eliyah Rabbah in a minute. but very simple. You have raisins. And you don't eat it because I said raisins. Not in the mood. So what do you do to get out of barrier? Simple. You eat half a raisin. You don't pop the whole raisin in your mouth. You eat half a raisin, and then you eat another half a raisin. So it's not a barrier because you broke it up. That's so simple, Alter Rebbe says. It's only if it broke before it was brought to you. And like I mentioned, other poskim don't agree with Alter Rebbe about this. Other poskim say that it's different if you cut it or if somebody else cut it before. As long as when you eat it, it's not complete, it's not a barrier.
You have to do that with every raisin, every single one.
Every
half and
single
half,
raisin.
half and half.
Or you can
Every
just eat a
single-
kazai.
You could eat
There's
kazayas.
whole suffix about
Exactly.
after.
Exactly. But if you're not, if you're for sure not, if you're going to eat a doubtful amount anyway, you should finish off the amount. But if you're for sure going to eat less than a kazayas, you don't have this question, then you should make sure to get out of this question. Like, for example, breaking them up, which according to other poskim works for sure, and even according to Alter Rebbe, the poskim explaining the green here explains him that in light of the Eliyah Rabbah says that it's all decided based on the time of the bracha. When you made the bracha, it was bracha Rishona. You know it's bracha Acharona, but the bracha Rishona is when it's chal. The importance of the thing is chal. When you made the bracha Rishona, if it had the din of a barrier, breaking it was not going to make a difference. According to Eliyah Rabbah, if when you made the bracha Rishona it was already broken, then the din of barrier is not chal. So it doesn't say it in Alter Rebbe, but to minimize the machlokes, he says perhaps Alter Rebbe can be read that way. The huva lefanav is referring to the bracha, not the physical being brought in front of him. Before it was brought to him for a bracha. It doesn't say it, but he wants to work it into the words just to minimize machlokes.
There has the Alter Rebbe.
What did you say there? What did you say?
רוח Birchos HaNehenin, אפילו אחר שהוא בלפניו, ואפילו חד חוי כדי לאכול.
Yeah.
That's a lot more clear that it's not talking about.
Yeah.
What the word is, what that Eliyah Rabbah, who Eliyah Rabbah said? Eliyah Rabbah was better.
Who's this?
And this, it wasn't like 150 years ago?
No. It was around the same time. No,
Really? 300 years ago?
I think so. I don't know if I ever saw him. I think it was around the same time.
The word quote's not.
Yeah. He's big. Excuse me.
So he's saying, so who's using that Eliyahu to say differently in Alter Rebbe?
Rabbi Green. It's not really, it doesn't really go into the words now, but he just wants to know it's not chloikis, so that's
Well, it
why.
definitely doesn't work out with the Birchos and then and Loch Birchos and then. Afilu achar shehu b'lafona v'afilu chot choyt k'dei lachloi.
Right, but if there's a machlokes,
We're going with
luach haseder, the seder is the last.
So if you get Raya, but not between Gedech Higasbra,
Can't find out. You know the dates. I'm sorry, what?
if you take size but not Gedech Higasbra, the Raya.
Barry?
That's
How do you do Barry listen to Kazayach? Is that what you're talking about?
or according to Alter Rebbe, it'd be very.
Oh, you broke it. Yeah, you broke it.
Oh, right.
You broke it. There's no bracha. There's no bracha. What does Moshe say? Pumpkin, also known in North America as a pepita, is the edible seed of a pumpkin. Yeah, I know what pumpkin seed is. My chiddush was that what I didn't know is that the watermelon seeds also are like that.
They're white.
Elijah Spira, 1660 to 1712. Well, I'll tell you, was alive in 1812, 100 years later.
He was born in 1812?
No, he passed away around this time.
That was born in 1810. He passed away today.
Passed away then. I'll tell you, saw him or not.
Right. Passed away 2 years later.
Yeah.
The Producer passed away a year before. Almost a year before. He said he's going to ask Kapara. Instead of.
Instead of, oh really? And how long after did I know?
A year. I think.
Oh.
It's not called. That's long enough.
I remember, even though he's an ancestor of mine, I must say, I don't know.
So maybe what was the Eliyahu?
Leo Shapiro. So 1712, passed away 1712. Okay.
It's 400 years. Even more. After he passed away. He was right after the Shulchan Aruch. How long after the Shulchan Aruch? Shulchan Aruch was 500 years. So 400. He died 400 years.
He died 400 years ago. He died 200 years ago. Not 200 years.
Right. 200 years for those Rebbeim, for those the Rebbeis.
Yeah.
300 for them. So he was around about 1,000 Shach. Or were they before? Were they a little before him?
They were a little before him. I think he quotes them. Pretty sure. Okay, so what did I want to say? I wanted to say that There you go. Appreciate Yeah. He brings the other shitas here that say it's no problem to simply eat it a little bit at a time, or to cut it in half before you start. The Mishnah Berurah says that. Okay. Halacha Yud. Calls the Bracha Acharona. It's all Bracha Acharona. Al Bracha Acharona tzarich shir. Bracha Acharona don't need a shir. Achila is shir whether eating or drinking. Even a very small taste, you're not allowed to benefit from this world without a doubt. So this is going back on the whole simon, the whole parak here that others have been discussing. Shiva Bracha Acharona, Revius, Kazayas, Siruv, Alon, Baba. Let's not negate the Bracha Acharona. Bracha Acharona is in any amount because it's not on the svia, it's on the satisfaction, it's on the pleasure, and not even a small amount. You make a bracha. Now, what is considered hana? When he says you make a bracha on any hana, no matter small, what hana are we talking about? We're talking about the hana of the taste in your palate. We're talking about the hana of your stomach. First opinion says that it has to be hanas me'av. And in terms of tafshel, like for example, if you're tasting a dish, to know if it needs salt or spices, or if it's good to eat, you're not sure if it's ready yet. Now, these are two different things which you might say are not the same, right? You could say, I know it's ready, so once it has salt, there's more reason to say it's chayiv in a bracha, because you know it's edible. So once it has salt.
He says both?
It says both. Toiv l'machal, good for eating, or tzorach malachatal. In any case, he says, if you,
Or?
I'm saying, either one.
Oh, either one.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be. It's easier to say if you don't know if it's edible or not. You should make a bracha. But he doesn't just say that. He says that. Or, but he also says, in case where you're just tasting it, see it has salt. Enough salt in it. You know it's edible.
It's not that for something.
Malachatal. If you spit it out, it's the bracha b'shnei time. You have to make a bracha even if you benefit in your taste. Even if you tasted a lot up until the revius, but not including your revius.
Chazar Polit is just going on the Tov Machal.
No, either one.
All these you have to spit it out.
In order to not make a bracha, just spit it out.
It has to be in your mouth, not going into your mind. Spat out, and you have up until it is.
Yeah.
Not a kazayas. Or it is.
Talking about the liquids. If it's solid, then it's kazayas. It's interesting, actually. He doesn't say that it's a liquid. He just says tavshel.
Tavshel is usually a solid.
Tavshel is a cooked dish. It's usually something in a bowl.
Lav dafka salad.
It has to be solid.
They call chicken soup tavshel. Soup tavshel.
I think so. Cooked dish.
And excuse me a second, but we'd probably call it tavshel.
Yeah, sure. Cooked dish. Cooked dish. It is interesting. Why doesn't he specify liquid? I don't know. I don't answer that question.
Does anyone argue on this and say that you can even swallow it?
Yeah, absolutely. Machlek is shayna.
Saying even.
Even acharona. So the Rambam, among other Rishonim, says that if you're tasting something for the purpose of seeing if it's good to eat or if it has enough salt or whatever, you don't make a bracha acharona even if you swallow it, because
Yes,
not,
bracha.
you don't make a bracha rishona. Did I say acharona? I mean rishona. You don't make a bracha rishona even if you swallow it, because that's not called real hana. It's not called hana achila. It's not called hana achila. You have hana in your palate, but because you don't want it in your stomach. You need to swallow it just to get the full taste of it. You're not eating it for the sake of eating it. You're eating it just to know if it tastes good or not. That's not called hana achila. It's called hana achila. You enjoy it here, but you don't enjoy it here because you don't want it. You're not eating it for the sake of eating. So that's the thing, the Rambam. In the sugya, by the way, it's actually about the fasting. Is it considered to break your fast if you taste something? And the Rambam says no. If it's just something that you're tasting, even if you swallow it, because it's not considered. It's not considered hana achila.
What does Shulchan Aruch say?
So the Shulchan Aruch about fasting, I'm pretty sure it depends if it's a public fast or a private fast. Public fast you can't be Toyim. Private fast, yes. I don't know if he asks about time in Malaya. Sorry? I don't know. Could be goes there the Chumrah in here. Here it's a Safek Brachas. I'll get to that in a minute. The Maisa, the Machaber brings down this Machlokes, brings down both opinions. So the ratio, we discussed this once, huh? Did we discuss it? Machaber brings down. If you taste, you don't have to make bracha b'chalavias. Achilu boile, even if you swallow it. That's the Rambam's opinion. And by the way, I saw it somewhere, there's a bracha maybe. Even if you taste different dishes, after there is a little bit of chicken soup, a little bit of vegetable soup. You're in the kitchen, you're cooking, you have a lot of pots. You taste each one up to revius. Even though you have a revius total, there's no difference. Each achila is less than revius, and it's not chashuv because you're not eating for the sake of eating it.
Oh, I mean, you can have more than revius. Everything's less than revius.
Exactly.
Everything could be 90% of a revius.
Exactly.
Have 90% of reviuses.
Exactly. I mean, we're talking about an honest person who's really doing it. He's not making a joke out of it.
He's
I guess this would not apply for bread or tasting.
If you're baking bread, maybe wine.
No, it's the same thing. Is this in regards to having a bracha rishona? This question.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's the same concept as what the Rambam says. I mean, you don't have. I would think you would have to taste, say, a bracha rishona because you're tasting if it's good or not.
Right. I don't see why bread or wine would be different. I mean,
there wouldn't be a difference, I think, on that because the ikr is you're not tasting it for hana. You're tasting it if it's gonna kill the person or not.
The only thing is, what are you gonna do with the bread? I mean, the bread is not salt. What are you gonna do? There's nothing to do.
You before Pesach, you bought 6 bottles of wine. You don't want to drink wine. You just want to choose this. So you just taste it to see which one is better.
I don't know if it's considered tea. Why are you tasting? To see which is best? You can always play that game.
I don't know.
If you're tasting to make if you're taking to make something that's not good, you're just trying to figure out which one's best.
When I have to buy whatever 3 boxes of wine, and before buying it, I want to taste. I want to choose which one is not.
What I'm saying,
I'm not drinking for pleasure.
But this for wine tasting? Is he saying wine tasting?
Yeah.
But they usually spit it out. They don't. They whoosh it around their mouth.
Let's say you're not such a big maven that you spit it out. Just a regular guy.
No, I'm saying usually when they taste the wine, they just need to whoosh it around the mouth and spit it out.
I understand that. Then there's no question that there's no bracha. But he's asking, let's say you actually swallow it.
Ah,
You know that it's edible. You know it doesn't need any salt, spices.
Who doesn't give you who gives you permission to make it drink of that?
Why not?
Doesn't have either of these two conditions. No chaser, and they're both good. Question is which one do you want to use? Nothing's chaser, not melech, not tavlin, and not the
that's true.
cooked aspect of it.
So why does it have to be dafka for melech or tam? I mean, I'm not sure.
Because then it's chaser.
I'm just thinking.
Lacking something's a big lack. Figuring out which one's the best taste of wine for me.
But it's still not for the sake of achila. I don't want to drink wine now. I just want to know what to buy.
Sounds like the purpose is tasting.
The fact that it's missing salt doesn't mean that it's not roy for bracha. The fact that it's maybe not roy, it's not toiv the
Yeah, it's chaser. These are not chaser.
I understand.
Well, there's a
chaser item not get a bracha. It's edible. I'm just saying.
If you're tasting it, no. If you're tasting it in order to fill that lack or to fix, no.
What if it's not lacking salt?
So then you make a bracha. Why wouldn't you make a bracha on tasting something? You don't make a bracha on tasting things? It's just said. Oh, Bracha Acharona, Bracha Acharona, Insar, Shiur, Chila.
If you're tasting something just for the sake of tasting and not for any other ulterior motive, definitely make a bracha. And you're swallowing, make a bracha. Because you're tasting it. You're getting that on no. It has, in order to not make a bracha, or depending on the opinion, you don't make a bracha, you swallow it. We're talking about when you're doing it definitely for another reason. That makes it that it should be considered for the benefit of the eating. But your question is, can it be another reason, but nothing to do with the quality of the product, or the ability of the product? One thing that is brought down in the price scheme is that for Tayameh Chaim Zachu, you have to make a bracha.
Question.
It says if you eat the food of Erev Shabbos and Shabbos, of Shabbos and Erev Shabbos, sorry, Tayameh Chaim Zachu, you get a blessing for life. Taste the food. So there, you're doing it for the mitzvah, but you're enjoying it. You know what I'm saying? There's no pressure to make a bracha.
It's also a case where you don't know whether for starting, or whatever, even for Ashkenazim, I don't know where I came out. It was a bit confusing, please forgive me. But if you're checking which bracha the bread is, it's Mazonos Ramotzi, so you would.
Interesting. Well, there you have it. It's not chas or anything. There's nothing wrong with it.
Very different.
There's nothing wrong with it. You just
That's for
don't
the
know
sake
what
of
it is.
mitzvah bracha, over here it's for the sake of your palate, which one do I like more?
That's a shvach.
No.
That's a shvach. You wanted to say chaser. No.
Yeah, chaser yediyah. I want to figure out what bracha is.
That's nothing wrong with the Michael. That's your
No, it's
that's
very
a
similar
idea
to
in your
chaser.
head. Nothing to do. No.
Very similar.
Now you're already going
Yeah,
off. I'm not masking.
It's a big difference.
No.
You can put it in the third category, but don't say it's similar to these things. That's very far. To say which one's better, I'm not looking for which bread I like best. I'm looking for what
as long
bracha
as
is.
it's a complete food. If you say that when you're eating a complete food, which you know is complete, and you have an ulterior motive for checking it, whether it's for a mitzvah or for your saving money in terms of what to buy, either way, it's a complete food. If that's a reason not to make a bracha, it should apply against the mitzvah.
It's for the mitzvah. I mean, you want to choose the best wine for the mitzvah before time.
Right. But you enjoy. I mean,
Rabbi, you happen to be stranded on an island and you see a fruit you don't recognize. You don't know if it's edible or not edible. You pick up the fruit, You don't say bracha.
Well, according to you can't make a bracha on someone not edible. So even though the Rebbe would agree that you don't make a bracha on that because you can't make a bracha.
But if it's edible, you're not eating something like
If it's edible, so the mafreya, according to Rabbi Hananel, because Rabbi Hananel is the one that argues in the Rambam, by the way. I forgot to finish off the argument. According to Rabbi Hananel, whenever you swallow, you have to make a bracha, right? So according to him, if after you swallow it turns out there was edible, you should have made a bracha. But it's only afterwards that you find out. You know what I'm saying? If you, yeah. Anyway, the Mechaber says, Yeshem Shimu Boilai Tam Bracha. So say if you swallow, it means a bracha. And they only said you're potter if you spit it out. Was a filu al harbe in its own bracha. And if you spit out, even if you eat a lot, it doesn't need a bracha. Safek brachas lahakal. Hello. The Chaver brings both opinions. He doesn't say what to do. The Ramah says clearly, Safek brachas lahakal. That means the Ramah is pasking, not like the Alter Rebbe. The Chaver doesn't spell it out, but the Pashtus, he holds that because he brings Sushi to say, we know that Chal is lahakal. Ramah spells it out. Safek brachas lahakal. If you swallow, but you don't have kavanah for the sake of eating, even if you swallow, you don't make a bracha. What the Mishnah says. Very simple. It's a very simple way of getting out of this problem. You're going to swallow. According to Rabbi Acharona, you're supposed to make a bracha. According to Rabbi, you're not. On my say you can't because it's a suffix. Have kavanah that you want to enjoy it. And then you can make a bracha. It's all in your head. So it's true that you want to taste it for salt. But as long as you have kavanah that you want to enjoy it also, make a bracha. So, why does Alter Rebbe not paskin like this? Well, some Ram Hakal is a very klal gadol b'Torah in this area of halacha. So what's going on here? So much to learn, my friends. Okay.
Alter Rebbe is saying that if you hit a repeat, you have to make a after bracha.
If you are,
What's Alter Rebbe saying? If you hit a repeat, you have to make an after bracha?
yeah. No, before bracha. Before bracha. No, before bracha.
So you did mention something about if you suffer a sin or mistake and enjoy the flavor without swallowing, you don't say any bracha. You don't say that.
Yeah, I was going to say according to this also bubble gum. We do bubble gum according to this.
One second. What's the question?
I don't know, it's mentioned I mean, you're tasting, but you're not swallowing. So it's just,
When you eat bubble gum, you swallow the taste of it. You swallow the taste of it. Then you have kavanah to swallow that taste. You want it. You like it. Okay, I'm not getting it, so I don't want to take your time up. But basically, Magen Avraham disagrees with the Chaber and Ramah and how they learn Pshat in the Rishonim. And he says that definitely you need to make a bracha as long as there's hanas, as long as you're tasting it. And swallowing it, you have to make a bracha. So that's how the Alter is paskening. I'd like the Ramah. Al-Chaber would like the Magen Avraham.
That makes it a lot. Those are going to get them trying to go and get everything else.
How does the Alter Rebbe paskin?
Sorry?
How does the Alter Rebbe paskin?
That you make a bracha if you swallow it. Even if you're tasting something, if you swallow it, you make a bracha.
Uh-huh.
Very interesting point here, which I thought you were bringing up. Maybe you meant to bring it up.
And regarding the wine tasting,
If you
don't
spit it
swallow.
out, for sure, no bracha.
You spit it out, but there's always going to be like a remnant. It's still okay?
I don't know if they're about the remnants. I assume it's okay because that's not your kavanah. It's
Okay.
just leftover. Here's the thing. Whatever says if you're going to spit it out, you don't make a bracha. Add revius. What does that mean? If you spit out more than a revius, you make a bracha? I mean, there's no hanas mayim. So he brings down in the English Alter Rebbe, based on a sefer called Oil Moyed, that if you have a kazaya or a revius in your mouth at once, there's no way you're not going to swallow some. There's no way you're not going to swallow some. It's interesting, actually. That's your question mark, where you swallow it against your will. But that's what he's saying.
Against you? What do you mean against your will? That's
You didn't intend to swallow it. You had a revius in your mouth at once. You spat it out. You still have to make a bracha. The assumption is that you swallowed some.
So you still have to make a bracha on that, essentially.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, out there and hold it from shot and what you're going to say?
Yeah. Go for it.
I'm probably not. It's probably not going to be right.
Go for it.
I'm
Go for
extremely
it.
tired, but
Go for
I
it.
read this the first way, and it makes a lot of sense. You don't have to be, it's not a deichik of the revias and not swallowing. The first half was talking about yes swallowing, the second half not swallowing. And he says that you have to, if you eat more than a revias, you make a bracha. That's talking about the part that you were swallowing. Say it again.
Yeah, because I slept in less than you last night.
What?
I slept even less than you last night. So you have to say it again, yes.
Yeah, so it says, I'll just read it. Maybe it'll make sense to myself. ואין חשוב ההנאה אלא הנאה מאב, ולא ההנאה סככך. ומלא כגון נתוים את התבשיל לידע אם הוא צריך מלח וטבלת. Number one. Now, I put spaghetti sauce in my mouth to see if it needs melech v'tavlin. I swallow. Yeah? Oh, ivu tov l'malacha. V'chazar v'polet. Okay, it doesn't read so nicely, but let's correct me if I'm 1,000% wrong. Chazar v'polet is only going on tov l'malacha. Because you don't know, or even in case you don't know if it's good, so you spat it out. It should have said there, afilu ta'am harbe. No, it should have said afal pi shenene b'ta'amo. Should have said shenene mimenu or something. I don't know. Ta'amo sounds like you kept it in your mouth. Afilu ta'am harbe ad kedirabi. Belong. You know what I'm saying? Could it be anywhere here that you're swallowing? Everyone explains all through every mouth.
Gain in terms of tashel, chazu palet in tzalavarach, and agderis ladbachla.
Could it be chazar v'palat? Chazar v'palat. Palet. He's going only off of tov l'machal. Completely not.
Sorry. One time.
Could it be the second half of the two examples? It says the Torah to tavsheli dayim utzarach melach v'tavlin, or im tov l'machal v'chazar v'palat, meaning chazar v'palat is going off of tov l'machal.
I don't know. I don't see that in the words. Chazu palet tzalavarach for the arba agderis ladbachla.
No, the chazar v'palat, kama, it's our v'palat, meaning the chazar v'palat is going only off of the im tov l'machal.
I don't know.
Okay.
Very forced.
Okay.
Very forced. Very forced.
Many people have read this before me. But they didn't see that.
Okay. Let us begin the next chapter, my friends.
No chance in the world for one, right?
Be nice. Okay. We are starting chapter 9, Baruch Hashem. Here we go.
What is this about?
This is about interruptions and changing places. There you go. Coming up. Kol bracha social yafsik bracha lachila. Alter says, all brachos should not interrupt between the bracha and the eating. Afilu b'nekov b'yira, even for the sake of respect or honor. Even after you chew till you swallow. This is a chiddush because you are allowed to interrupt. Kriyashma, exactly, you're allowed to interrupt for.
No, what's the chayich? Once the chayich is there, you do interrupt. I don't know if you're saying.
What's that saying?
But isn't that the halacha? Once your chayich is there and you're a mitzvah there, so you should do it?
No.
I'm not reading it into anything that you're saying.
I don't think so.
Here they bring up not to talk when you eat.
Well, here it's before you swallow.
Yeah, when you have food in your mouth, you know. That's only for the first time. For the rest.
Let's see to discuss Dr. Kedusha here. Page 28. I don't see it here. You saw that somewhere?
Sounds like a question, right?
You seem very sure of yourself.
No, I've seen it that way. Question is, why does it person to that way? The chayich being there is the. No?
We just finished learning. Matemes is a machlokes.
No.
Before you swallow, it's matemes.
No, but you're doing it to.
Before you swallow, it's matemes. If matemes doesn't need a bracha, so you don't. Your bracha is not chal yet, because what you did doesn't need a bracha. Bracha's not chal till you swallow. Now that's a machlokes.
Maybe until you're planning to eat it, so the whole process is cold.
Not pasha.
A big bowl of achila.
Not pasha. So, but pashtas, if matemes needs a bracha, so then you're already saying bracha. Matemes doesn't need a bracha, and you say bracha. So, if you spoke, so another bracha. But should you speak even the Bracha Kedusha on the chance that you're making that bracha into bracha v'tala? That's what you do. If matemes does not need a bracha, then your bracha becomes the v'tala when you interrupt. That's what I'm saying. That's why it's different than kavod and yira, that you're allowed to talk in Birchos Kriyashma, because that doesn't create a bracha v'tala. It's not something you would do under normal circumstances to interrupt Kriyashma. But for kavod and yira, depending on where you're holding, yeah, we'll let you. But the turn of bracha into bracha v'tala, that not.
So you put some food to taste, put it in your mouth. You were not going to swallow, but then you decided, oh, this is delicious, and I'm going to swallow. You have the food in your mouth.
That's a separate bracha. That's a question.
So you say a bracha. Can you say a bracha?
That's a separate question because we didn't discuss it yet. But basically, you cannot say a bracha with food in your mouth because the pasuk says your mouth is supposed to be filled with Hashem's praise. There's food in your mouth, it's not filled. So once it's already in your mouth, so we're not going to make you spit it out because it's going to be disgusting. You're not going to eat. It's a waste of food. So we matter to put it on the side of your mouth.
Not heads up, it's liquid.
No, it's liquid because you can't put it one side of your mouth. Solid, you put it inside your mouth. Unless it's a solid that will still be good if you spit it out like a whole peanut that you didn't chew yet. Okay, you can spit it out. But if it's something that's disgusting, once you spit it out, then you put it inside. Liquid,
You put it inside the bracha.
Say the bracha on the side. Liquid, I think you say you swallow it. No, is that,
You can swallow that.
you swallow that a bracha and then make a bracha afterwards and drink some more. But I want to look at
Is
this.
it because of easy ochel, not because of tashkas? What's the?
I think it's not tashkas. It's not tashkas. That's what it is. Pretty sure.
Meaning you don't want to be over an Isser D'oraisa? Is that an Isser D'oraisa about that? Could be.
Could be. Sorry, the Al Yosef disagrees with you.
What?
And Berach HaMoitzi v'tem shetom ha'maichel. Shetom, sorry. Tem shetom ha'maichel shom ha'kad v'kedusha ina l'hasik lamis kedush kad shkedusha v'neroch l'kim. Anu v'diyav v'deyach l'yorach. V'mischel lilois chich kranena af shadayin l'bala yain l'kad shkedusha. Shagom tem yishlach l'chatchila shloi l'daber. I think that's like the Rambam. It's nice. Like the Rambam, stam of the Machaber and Siman Kofio, Reishod. Is that the stam? 1 second. Tevis Tav Shnatzot Lavorach Adrevius. Vafilim Hu Boiloi. That's the stam. The stam is the Rambam. The Yesh Oimrim is Rabbi Nachanel. So it's impossible like the Rambam. And Mela. I'm not getting this. I'm not getting this. Rambam says even if you swallow, there's no bracha. So what does that help you being yotze when you put in your mouth? Not clear on this. Yeah, no, it is the shita.
You know what I'm saying? It's still in Suffolk.
No, it is the shita. In other words, according to the Machaber, according to the Rabbi Chananel, the bracha is only on Noas Me'ayim. Only on Noas Me'ayim. According to the Rambam, the halacha is also on Noas Achef, but not a matemas, not just for taste. But if you're eating it, then even the chaych, even that hanoas is worthy of a bracha. So that's what I'm saying. So he was passing like the Rambam, the stam. That's why he's passing that if you put it in your mouth and you didn't swallow it, you could say the bracha. What I'm saying for Ashkenazim, paskin some brachas hakal over there. They're not passing the Rambam. Pashtus, it's the same thing here. Birchos Chalilois, who parlours of meal, but Birchos Chalilois, down here, Amen. Yeah, the contradiction. Okay, a lot of footnotes here. Yeah, okay, you're right. Shkach. Yeah, no, but Ikra Halacha from Sfardim. So, we finish. I'm sorry, if you interrupted between the bracha and the eating and you spoke about something not related to the eating, you should make another bracha. If it is related to the eating, you don't make another bracha, like pass the salt. Even though you should really not say that, you should really do it beforehand. But if it's related to the eating, b'diavad, it's not a interruption. If you speak while you're still chewing, then it's a suffix if you have to make another bracha or not. Would be the chewing is already considered the beginning, so you already are to the bracha. Would be not until you swallow, like we said before about making a bracha on what you swallowed after. So, therefore, it's a doubt. So therefore, you basically shouldn't talk until you swallow. And the Magen Avraham adds, by the way, because walking is afsik, you shouldn't walk dalaramas before you swallow. Make a bracha, put some in your mouth. Don't walk dalaramas until you swallow. Because walking is also hefsek. Okay, my friends. If you made a bracha or shayna, put something in your mouth, you shouldn't walk more than dalat amos before you swallow. Hefsek between the bracha and the eating. Walking dalat amos is hefsek.
Where's that? That's like
Well, but you're not going to make another bracha because even if you speak b'diavad, you don't make a bracha. Talking about after it's in your mouth.
Oh.
After it's in. You made a bracha. You put something in your mouth. I'm saying, but it's a machlokes. Could be that putting it in your mouth is enough already for the bracha to be chal.
Two ways. One, something good. Two, something good. This, it's this stand.
What do you mean? What do you mean about the halicha?
Everyone else in that?
Of Dalanas being a hefsek?
Doesn't sound like it. Is he mean Rosh Chila the guy saying?
But yeah, but it's not hefsek anyway. So it's for sure don't want the chila. Just let me look it up. Okay, I don't see about that on this moment. I'm gonna have to find it. It's a show for next week. Rabbi Isai, it's been a pleasure. Nice to be back on schedule, and hopefully next week, both Monday and Tuesday nights.
Thank you. Have a good
Gonna do
night.
my homework better next week.